And we're live. Right. Alright, yeah, we're live. Hello. Okay. Hey, Sapphire. Alright, I've got about an hour or two before dinner, so I figure I'll do another quick stream. We can keep poking at this drummer guy. Let's see, where were we when I left today? Right. I'm still not crazy about a lot of things. Let's start with the obvious. Let's start by getting the a circle outline around the symbols, so at least we can kind of visualize how that'll look, and then we'll go from there. Okay. This is all right where we left it. Okay. Oh, hey, Dink Dunk. Yeah, I didn't want to, like... I don't know how to say, like, I can stream, but not for very long. Oh, I see. You just messaged me on Twitter. How's Diggs? Diggs good. Things are good, man. It's a good day. I feel like I should get... I'm gonna go back to real life starting tomorrow. Go back to having a schedule. It's been a fun little break. Actually, wait. How have things been with you, man? Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Weird. London Dare. No, I've never been a part of a game jam. Sounds like fun. You doing it? No, game jams weren't really a thing when I was in college. They're big now, but by the time they became big, like how many years have they really been big? By then I was already making games. When you make games for a living, the appeal of like, it's not as appealing to make more games for, like, how do I explain it? Like, I make games for a living now and I'm making this game at home for fun, but it's something that interests me. Making something quickly and shitty doesn't appeal to me. Not shitty, but like, you know what I mean. I get to experiment all the time in video games and in the realm of video games. So doing something unfocused, I don't know, just doesn't quite have the same appeal. And I already don't have the time to collaborate with all the people I want to. So meeting new people to collaborate with isn't like a challenge that I want. Like, I wish I had more time. There's already people who have awesome ideas that I want to take part in, and I can't because I just don't have enough time. I made a 3D platformer in 72 hours. I consider it a breath of fresh air. Some people love it. I should try. I don't know. It's worth a shot. In all seriousness, I probably won't. Like, I constantly prototype different game ideas at home. I don't need, like, the structure to do it. Does that make sense? I guess, like, what is the appeal? I mean, I can definitely see the appeal if you're learning, or if you are feeling really uninspired and you're burnt out. Totally. I see the appeal there. If you want to meet new people to collaborate with, you just want to try out a different team, or if you have an idea that you want to play with, but for some reason you're not, like, playing with it yet. Maybe if you're trying to make a name for yourself and get some press and you're having a difficult time doing it. Like, I can see reasons why a person would do game jams. Also, just, it does seem like really fun. But, it seems like fun in the, like, bust ass, make a game really quickly, no sleep kind of thing. But it's like, I make games for a living. I don't need to burn myself out right now. It's not a good idea. Get something done quick. So, if there's something you want to get done quick, I've never, like, I guess I've never gone into a project like, I want to do something, anything, quickly. I've always been like, I have a specific thing I want to make, right? Like, I'm really inspired by this piece of art, by this piece of music, by this idea, usually by an idea, by some kind of tech. Something has inspired me and I want to make something because of this thing. And then I just fucking do it. Like, I don't, it's never been like, I want to make something, anything, quickly. I just don't have that feeling, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. But again, like, I'm pretty creatively fulfilled right now, so I could definitely see it if I was, like, burnt out or... I don't know, I could see why somebody might. Plain. Might be overthinking this one a bit. The positive emotion of finishing is why I do game jams, despite working on games for my day job. My projects are long term. What are you working on, pathetic player? Because people have been talking about this a lot, like working on long-term projects being a drag, but I've never felt that way because I feel like it's not like there's the beginning of the project and there's the end of the project. There's always milestones. There's always these moments that are really, really exciting along the way. There's the... You feel joy and victory in, like, I finished the locomotion animation for this character. Or, like, you have these little moments that you love and that feel really, really good. Actually finishing the game is, like, some... further goal that's almost not why you do it. Especially, I mean, I feel that back when I worked in AAA especially, it was never like you were excited about finishing the game. It was always like you were really excited because you get to animate this character and then you'd finish that character, and that was always something that would take like a significantly shorter amount of time than making the whole game, or you were really excited about some chunk of the work. And then you'd finish that chunk of the work. At least in AAA, it was always that way. And then all of a sudden, you wake up one day and you're like, oh shit, we're actually about to make this? Crap. And then you, like... That's usually towards the end. Yeah. Okay, optimizing a game for mobile. That, yeah, like, I could definitely see. Yeah. Yeah, that's a drag. I feel ya. That makes sense. I mean, optimization's always a... something. Optimization sucks. It's not the fun part. It can be. It's fun to be optimizing. I had fun optimizing for the consoles last generation for Bioshock, but that was mostly because you get to feel like a hero when you're an animator. Everybody else is scrounging for memory, like desperately trying to squeeze whatever memory they can out of, you know, out of the game. And then you're an animator and you're just like, you can easily save 10 times, 20 times as much memory as everybody else in like no time at all, just by making sure certain things are loaded or not loaded, because animation memory is so intense. So like the numbers you're working with are just way more than... Animation memory is just such a larger chunk of your pool than texture memory. And actually optimizing the animation trees is like... It's almost Boolean. Like, is this optimized? Yes or no? So optimization on Bioshock was not that rough. It's actually pretty fun. And the few times you did have to completely redo everything, that was more of like a, hey, shit, we have to redo everything. How do we batch this? What can we do to make this an automated process? Which is kind of fun too, in a way. God damn it. I watched your GC talks and started listening to your podcast, and now inspired to get serious and learn to animate and eventually pursue a career in the industry. Holy shit, dude. Wow, man. Thanks. Some Chili Dogs is actually Chris Light from the podcast. You should follow him too. But holy shit, man. Cool. Say you're someone who is in a podcast with Gwen and you need to think about things to talk about. Yeah, we didn't record a podcast last week because I didn't want to do another fucking podcast about loot boxes. And I still kind of like, God, there's no news this week except for loot boxes. It's like, I don't want to fucking talk about loot boxes. I want to talk about anything else. I managed to have some really interesting conversations about Frostbite, but I'm not allowed to talk about those. Because AAA sucks. Got a lot of thoughts. Feeling a lot of feelings. What else is going on? Shit, what are we going to talk about on Wednesday? Anyway, hi Greed. I'm sorry I missed that. Animating loot boxes. Or get into it, man. Animating the little, like... I had so much fun on the Flame of the Flood. Hold on, I'm gonna show you stuff. Let's have some fun. Let's walk down memory lane. Hold on, let me save this. I actually have a lot of fun animating inanimate objects. Like, what do I have locally? Oh my god, this is from forever ago. No, where's like the traps? Those were fun, but like the traps are the best. Traps. I remember animating this one. River game. Source traps box. Okay, I was in the plane to GDC and I was given this model and I was just super into it. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's not textured. It's old assets. I just straight don't have the texture. Damn. Traps shared. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. I was on the plane to GDC and I was given this model. And so I rigged it on the plane to GDC and I animated it on the way back. Like, I ripped it apart. I ripped off every fucking stick. And I rigged each and every one. And I kind of like animated it being built. I just had such a fucking blast with this. I have no idea why I got so into it. And I just checked that into work and didn't tell anybody, and they saw it one day and they were like, what the fuck? Because when they said to animate this, they were like, animate setting up the box trap, they thought it would just be like, I'd put in 2 bones. But yeah, I rigged every stick. There's so many joints in this. Look at the joints. This is an example of me just losing my mind. That was fun. Sorry, I don't know why I had to go down the memory lane there. Anyway, loot boxes aren't the worst. Inanimate objects are fun. Black and white too, where you can use your god powers to build building. Oh, I remember the other thing. Oh god, it's all coming back. So we were talking about, we decided later on that you could rig we decided later on about raft upgrades and just the setting up of that whole system. I should have given a talk about that. Ripping apart the raft and deciding how it would all come together and how it would get, how you'd upgrade it and stuff. And animating that. That was pretty cool. That was a fun process, actually. I should do a talk about that. That makes sense. Like a YouTube video or something little. I feel like I could give a million like 2-minute talks. There's a lot. Everything I do is like, this was fun, and I've got 2 minutes of information. That's about it. It's not really like. But there isn't really a venue for that. If you go to GDC, it's got to be like, here's half an hour of information. I feel like if I ever did a real talk at GDC again, it would be, because I mean all the ones I do now are like the 5-minute ones. If I ever did a real talk at GDC again, I would probably literally just break it up into 10 different talks and just give 10 talks back to back. It's just like, here's things that I did. It's way better. I'm really bad at talking in front of people. I can do it forever. There's no problem actually talking. But everyone afterwards is like, well, that was interesting. Aw. Oh, don't worry about going on tangents. I do that all the time. People seem fine with it. God bless Chris Slate. He manages to edit that podcast into something coherent, because I, like, do not stay on topic. I've been on other people's podcasts, and they're usually horrified. They usually say exactly what they said to you. Well, that was not what I expected. It's like, what were you expecting? Sorry. Whatever. It's all good. Alright, let's get this going here. Humble source. Why is Snake in here? I won't ask. Alright. Sorry, I know I'm ignoring the chat. Give me a second. I wish the chat was just read to me like Alexa. Alexa, read the chat. Oh wow, you guys are active today. Yeah, I generally find... Okay, so yeah. High-level tech art processes. It's hard to unprompted just give tips. It's hard to be like, here. It's a lot easier if somebody has questions, because then you can answer them, and then that'll remind you of something, and you can kind of go down on a tangent. And a lot of times, like, there's things that I don't realize that other people don't know. So if there's questions, or if there's some kind of guiding thing, that tends to make it a lot easier. Not just for me, but like if you have a panel of tech artists, having people on Twitch start asking questions, that sort of thing, tends to really help. Yeah, I too can't hear my own voice. I just don't listen. Yeah, streaming is fun. Lightning talks, local talks. If you can do a talk, you probably have some kind of like local community that you can talk at. I bet you do. Those are always good. Somewhere where there's fewer people and you feel more comfortable. There's different kinds of talking too. Like, I've spoken with this before. Talking in front of... I've spoken about this with other people that talk. Horrifying things include talking in front of high schoolers who are just ignoring you with their heads down on their desk is really stressful. Surprisingly stressful. What else is surprisingly stressful? There's always different challenges. Some people are better with a large group. Like, some people actually do better when there's a lot of people in a room. Some people do better when there's fewer. I was talking to Chance once about this stuff. Pathetic player. Well, that's because nobody wants to say pathetic player. Mocap registry. Any hot tips for streaming? Chris Light will. Chris Light talked me into this and he is a professional streamer, so I'm glad he'll help you out. Is that a mosquito? This time of year in Boston? My animation boot camp. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Cobra. I'm glad. If I can make somebody laugh, it's all worth it. Alright, so in reality... Okay. Those little knobby things, they're just not reading. So we're gonna cheat. We're not gonna use this outline stuff. It's just too small. The player will never see it. Oops. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy it, literally, Control D. We're going to scale it up. We're going to reverse the normals so that rather than facing out, it faces in. And then we're going to make it black. Oldest trick in the book. This is how outline shaders used to be done. Oh god, fatal error. God damn it. Sorry, Maya just crashed. We'll do that again. Preferred method of character rigging faces. Blend shapes versus bones for facial rigging. Ooh. Okay, I can talk about that now. Okay, I don't do a lot of facial rigging. I actually think people, as an industry, we spend too much time concerned with facial rigging. I think it's important to have expression in the face and such, but I think if you look at as a percentage of time, sorry, I don't no longer... Control O no longer works. If you look at it as a percentage of time, you spend a great deal of time animating and rigging faces. And they're usually extremely small on screen, so I don't feel like they're a huge bang for your buck. I think if at all possible, designing your characters so that you don't have to deal with lip sync is a wise decision. So that's a whole, like, other aside, is I think we're too concerned with this stuff. But I mean, there's the very obvious things with rigging faces, right? Like, if you use blend shapes, then there's some pretty major drawbacks there. You can't easily edit the mesh later. I think in general, with any pipeline... Okay. When you start... In an ideal world, your designer, your artist, your animator, your programmer, everybody's always working all the time. Nobody ever blocks anybody. In the ideal world, anybody can go back at any point. So your rigger can go back and change the rigging on the face. The modeler can go back and change some parts of the model of the face, even though the animator is still animating and working. And I know, like, some of this is a pipe dream, but you want to get as close to that as possible. The problem with blend shapes is that once you've created blend shapes, you can no longer tweak the original model. Not easily. It's a huge pain in the ass. So what you've done is you've created a pipeline where the modeler models, and then they make the blend shapes, and then the animator animates the blend shapes. And this this kills your iteration loop. It's not ideal. So in that way, I try to avoid blend shapes whenever possible for that sort of thing. This is why I tend to push towards bone-based rigs. I find that they won't achieve the same result. They won't achieve anywhere near as good of a result, but what they will give you is the ability to iterate later. The ability to change. You can change if you need to retopo parts of the face, if you need to change some other part of the face. You don't have to figure out how to regenerate all the blend shapes to make sure everything still matches up and everything. So I prefer bones. Part of my pipeline. Oh god. Sure. Fuck it. So I wrote this thing a long time ago, which is the scene manager. What can I safely bring in? I don't want to bring in anything from when I'm working on at work. But all this is like, this is written in Python. It's a way for me to add rigs to the scene pretty easily. I made this for animators, back when I had animators. So like, let's add Scout from, not this. We called her player female. Originally there was going to be a player male too, but then we renamed her Scout and decided to only make one character. Legacy naming, man. Okay. So what this did was it imported Scout, ignore the fact that she's not textured. And it put her in a namespace that is r:"Scout, which is the name of what she is in Scene Manager. And then just like the referenced file. And this is how I structure my scenes. It's just kind of set up this way automatically. Anytime you bring in a scene through the Scene Manager, it puts it, it names it the reference that you give it here. And before that, it puts it in the namespace of r:" for rig. And then you can add things like, if I wanted to put a static prop in her hands, this just lists every FBX in Perforce that is exported. So I can grab like, I don't know what temp stick is, but let's put temp stick in her right hand. I've now brought in the scale mesh temp stick and it's in her right hand. It's all set up here in the Scene Manager. Here you'll see static prop is the namespace I'm using for it. It's attached to Scout, so I use namespace Scout. Okay, so static prop, it's a static prop that's assigned to Scout. Temp stick, which is what I named it here. And then here's the actual scene, it's a p-cube. And yeah, I do this. This is more something I'm going to push on for the next game. Often I'll take a rig and I'll want to preview what a different character will look like on the same rig. So say you have a character with a lot of customization. I used to work in MMOs. You could rip off the legs, put on a different scale mesh for the legs here, and the animator could just they could, if after they've been animating for a while, they can be like, oh, what does it look like if she's holding... Oh, fucking, why aren't you updating? Oh, right. This is that weird new Maya thing. And there's no textures in here, so whatever. If you wanted to preview a different scale mesh, you could rip off the default scale mesh and put on like a different kind of leg.fbx or any new FBXs, and that sort of thing. This is how I structure things. I wrote the Scene Manager a long time ago to help me with it. And everything else ties into the Scene Manager, so when I want to export a character, Scout is here because Scout was declared in the Scene Manager. It all just kind of lives together. These are just a series of tools I wrote. Was that way too much information? Yeah, I use a lot of nested namespaces. I love them. Hey, Yerkes Group. Got tea? Oh, what else? I'm sorry, I missed some stuff. Any chance of open sourcing any of your tools? Probably not. Mostly because I'm fucking embarrassed. Like, I'm not a programmer, and most of this is just what it does. It all works very well, and it's pretty well tested over the years, but it's also just probably shit code. I don't want to... The second you put something out there, you have to support it. You know? Nobody should look at this code and copy it. There's better shit out there, man. I've thought about it, the auto rigger is really slick and very complicated, and I've thought about cleaning that up and selling it, but I've found, because I actually think it might be, like, for auto rigging, the best. I don't say it's the best in the industry, but there aren't many auto riggers that are designed for games. None of them are, from what I can tell. And this one is very good and is only for games. I've thought about cleaning it up and selling it, but in the end I've made more money just using it to really quickly rig characters, and I don't have to, like, write up docs and explain to somebody else how to use it and clean it up and make it general case. The auto rigger has a bunch of, like, I know where to go in and flip certain bools to make it do different things. I can customize it very quickly. So it's a tool that I use, that I love, and that could become a tool that I could possibly sell, but art already exists. I'm not saying art is as good as my auto rigger, but it's like, it already exists. I don't want to be competing with art. I just don't want to supporting tools sounds like a real drag. And I don't want to do it. That would just be too much of a project. And like I said, it helps me rig characters very quickly, and so I've gotten my benefits over the years just by being able to say, you know, yes, I'll rig your character for a couple grand, and it's really quick. Well, not a couple grand, a couple, sometimes, depending on the character. And I just, because I can auto rig it, I can do it much quicker than most, and in that way it's been beneficial for me. That was a tangent, like all things. What's going on here? Chance. I suppose there's no replacement for just building the pipeline myself. No, and every pipeline is so fucking unique to the game you're making that I think trying to find a universal thing, it's too often we try to do universal stuff in this industry, and it's, especially for tech art, there is no universal tech art. That's the point. If you replace the NS mechanism with a node, you can just do a lookup on that node and it can contain metadata. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. It's not a lot of money in pipeline engineering. No, there really isn't. Most studios are looking for more TAs, but you can't just, like, buy an off-the-shelf. You can't just be like, you can't replace a TA with, I bought a bunch of scripts. Like, every game has different needs. If it was... if you're doing something like rigging a humanoid, you could absolutely... There's a large number of auto-riggers you could use. But beyond that, if you're bringing in a TA, it's because you want to make a unique shader. And if you want to make a unique shader, for instance, obviously it's not a unique shader if you can buy it off the marketplace. So kind of just, that's just not going to happen. I want to try an idea where I put massive coats on every character and animate them with like 4 joints. Sounds cool. I like it. Yeah. Think smart. Come up with an art style that come up with an art style that you can execute pretty easily, that looks more expensive than it is. God damn it. Why is this camera so fucked? Am I missing something? I must just be missing something. Anyway. What was it? 0.575. Oh god, wrong thing. Pet project was literally the name of a project where you had a bunch of pets that were highly customizable little goobers. I started and like lost interest in like 2 weeks. I had to actually announce I was working on this game too on Facebook just to force myself to stick with a fucking idea. Glad I did. This has been insanely fun. I should have done this ages ago. What the fuck was I doing? Player. Content. No, dumbass. Art source. Player. Bandages. Simple. This was a lot of time just to fucking get an outline. But it'll be worth it. Missions. Report. Alright, anyway, that's the trick. That looks bad. No. Sorry, circle. Pick. Not getting a lot of value out of that. Clearly need to pump that up more. Hey, May's back. What's up? Yeah, the guy that made art, I think, left Epic, didn't he? Jeremy? And later pathetic. Okay, cool. Hey, Moeller, what's up, man? Long time no see. Like, yeah, you guys are dropping like flies. Everyone's falling asleep in the UK. It's going well, Moeller. This. I don't think we're getting any value out of this. Let's try a new experiment. I don't know how this is gonna go, but let's PSX demo, huh? Cobradactyl, everyone here is a game dev except for you. Yet, from what I understand, you're about to be a game dev, so... Welcome to the party. As far as I'm concerned, not being a game dev is a problem that you can fix. I don't know if I like this. Eight short years and I'll be one of you. 8 years? I don't know, it depends what you want to do, man. So I'm interested to know how you make sure things look like the speed they're walking. I've done some YouTube videos on this. It's pretty, I mean, you can query the... It's pretty trivial in any blueprint to just say, like, get velocity. So usually, get velocity, you make the target whatever pawn you're looking at. You get the vector length of your velocity, that'll be the speed. And that'll be a number. So like, say, in Unreal, maybe you're moving like 600 UU a second at top speed. And that's just the variable that you input into your animation blueprint. In Maya, you'll animate the character to be moving at 600 UU a second. By default, Maya units and Unreal units are the same. So 600 Unreal units is the same thing as 600 Maya units. So like, in a second, which is 30 frames, you want your character to move from that red dot to that dot. Then you'll just animate that, looping. And then if you want to scale the animation, what you can do is you can just take the input velocity, or sorry, take your speed. So say it's 600 UU a second. Say you're ramping up, so it's only 300 UU a second. Basically take whatever your input variable is and divide it by 600 if you animated this to be 600. And pipe that into the play rate of your animation. So if the variable is 300 because your character is moving very slowly for some reason, then what am I saying? 300 divided by 600 will be 0.5, right? And then, so you pipe that into the move speed of your, you pipe that into the play rate of your animation. So your animation will play at half speed. It's basically the gist. Anyway, yeah, if you want something like a more detailed breakdown, check out the Wolf Locomotion on my YouTube. It's, that's the name of my YouTube channel. And I make 2-minute videos. They're very short. I don't want to waste anyone's time. Also, I just don't think you should. I just don't like wasting people's time. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna like this idea game, but I want to try it. Like maybe there's these lines that kind of come off of this. Do you think that's enough? Will I even notice? What am I doing? Skin. They're the same units by default. You can obviously change them. Hey, Kuru. Yeah. Let's fix that. consistent about what's black and what's brown and stuff. At some point I'm gonna come in here and fix all this shit. I know it's like wildly yellow right now. Oh, it's just way too subtle. That's not, it's gonna work. It's a little less subtle. Still kind of just... I really don't like the way it kind of flickers. This is not a good effect. I don't know. Here's some things we should do. I think this might be a failed experiment. Let's get rid of those. Lady Yerkes group, thanks for dropping by again today. Twice today. Alright, I'm gonna float an idea in this chat, hypothetically. Animation Exchange is coming up. It's the day after the Animation Bootcamp. If we did something where... I want to do an event where we review student reels or student short animations, or... Basically last year I did a kind of like animation review segment, and we reviewed animations that came out from games that year. We just kind of like talked about what we liked and didn't like and why some of them worked and some of them didn't work. I want to do that again. I think it'd be cool to actually do like a demo reel review with student reels. Or we could do something... That's one idea. The other idea is, what if we did a like an animation jam? Like I come up with something a week ahead of time, a theme, and then everybody has 1 week to make a short animation based on it, and then we look at them all live on Twitch. One of those two. I don't know. There's a couple of animators in the chat. He runs short jams. I think I follow that guy. Dynasty? Yeah, like on Twitter, right? I don't eat his lunch if he's... Nope. Nope, not on Twitter. Maybe on Twitter. I stream Tuesday and Thursday. Nope, no idea who this guy is. Never mind. Oh, yeah. Nope, no idea who this guy is. Yeah, the week before GDC is busy for us, but I think like students it might not be. Uh, it would be kind of like an outreach thing. I think it'd be cool to get some. I always feel like we snub students, and it's very expensive to come to GDC, and I don't like that it's very expensive to come to GDC. I don't like that I feel like I'm excluding people. I mean, it'd be cool to do something for the community. The guys that run boot camp have a couple other really good ideas they're similar to. So I think they'd be down for whatever I want to do here. Or if there's anything in all you think would be cool to see, Animation Exchange is going to happen live on Twitch. It's going to be tech artists, animators, animation programmers, talking for a day live on Twitch, doing different events and integrated with the community. Yeah, that is the guy I found. I've definitely never followed him. I'll follow him now. When is this? Is there a link? Oh, the Animex. Let me find something you can follow. Animex. I mean, we usually do an event the day after GDC, and we usually have like a podcast. It's hashtag Animex on Twitter. Do we not have like an official fucking thing? I'm a part of it because I was there for the first one and I just kind of like them. Oh, animstate.com. Do we still run this website? I guess we do. Here's the website. We post everything here. The people that are really spearheading this are Mike Jungbluth and Tim Borelli. Tim Borelli is an animator at Thekla right now, and Mike Jungbluth is free range, I think, because of all the shit that went down at Volition. I don't know where he is anymore. He used to be the director of animation at Volition. And they just kind of like let me hang out and do whatever I want. Last year, I got some beer and some animators, and then I had them review a reel that they didn't realize belonged to another animator in the room. It was great. They did realize it pretty quickly, and then it was a whole thing. It was pretty funny. I don't think I can get away with that twice. Oh, I remember. We actually we reviewed Tim Borelli's animation reel while he was there. Oh god, that's right. That was such a good year. God, I love these people, man. What am I doing? Just talking. What? Oh. Yikes. Oh, right, because I deleted the lines. Okay. Thick. Alright. What I need is to create... Okay, I know what I need to do. Okay. Hey, Mega Spell. I believe in Anim State. I think it's a great idea. I think what they're doing is great. I wanted to be a part of Boston Fig, I just didn't have a great deal of time, and I'm still gonna do that. I want to help them get the Fig Talks onto Twitch so that they can broadcast it live. I think the indie community in Boston should... I would like to help them do that, if at all possible. Because I like the Fig Talks, and I think a bunch of us talking together here in Boston is fine, but you guys should know Fig Talks would be mostly like... The local indie scene is not a lot of artists, definitely no animators, really. The local indie scene in Boston is pretty much all, well, it used to be AAA, but now it's the indie scene, at least, which Boston Indies is mostly design, couple programmers, mostly business people. I can think of 2 indie artists in Boston. Like, I can think of a couple of programmers. Like, we have Spry Fox's programmer, Graham is local. We got, like, Luigi's an artist that's working with Zyba on Pop Cannibal. Obviously Ichiro and Aton are here. I don't really know Aton's crew. But, like, it's not many artists here. And the ones that are here don't, like, give talks or anything. I think a lot of them see what they're doing as, like, a stepping stone to something else. That used to be more the case. In animation back, like, in the 2000s, most of the animators I worked with in the industry were like, I'm just working at games until I get my break. And then I'm gonna go be a glorious film animator. Times have changed, man. They used to sing that tune, and now they're all desperately trying to get back. Believe it or not, the games animation industry is significantly more stable than the film industry. As fucked up as that is. I got mad shit in film school for wanting to be a game animator, too. Like, I got some mad shit for that. Who's laughing now? No one. But still. I didn't really get mad shit. Just didn't. I have a lot of people to hang out with. And that was mostly because I spent all day playing World of Warcraft. So really, in the end, it's all my own fucking fault. important thing here, the takeaway is, fuck the film industry. Someone's gonna reference this someday when I'm begging for a job at Pixar. Yeah, that's the haircut afro, thank you. Cooperative walk cycle. 2 animators in 30 minutes, 15 minutes each. First person animates the upper body. The second has to match the lower body to it. Ooh, I don't know. I don't want to make professional animators animate live if they're not used to doing it. It's super stressful, I think. VFX is the worst industry to be in. Correct. They have it worse than everybody. I can't wait until money is abolished. Well, that's interesting. I think you can wait. I think you will wait. I think money is around. Exchanging goods for resources and services is probably a concept that will survive. I learned all kinds of things from the hairdresser today, Afra. It was fascinating. Apparently, there is a, okay. So if you work, you have to, in the state of Boston, or sorry, in the state of Massachusetts, you must declare your establishment either a barber shop or a hair salon. And you have to have different permits based on which one you are. And for instance, my hairdresser is not allowed to use a straight razor. She's never used a straight razor, but she's real straight razor curious. Like, she wants to try it out, but she can't because, I don't know, like, the government will come and slap it out of her hands and fine her $300 if she picks up a straight razor in her place of employment. It's actually like a law. So she's like bought a straight razor in secret and is gonna try it out on her boyfriend at home. This is a real thing in the world. This is the world we live in. And I got to learn all kinds of things about hair. We really dug deep into it. I've put a lot of knowledge into my brain. Particularly, it is of interest to you gentlemen, perhaps, that you can get a better fade if you go to a proper salon with scissors because they can work around your cowlick. I learned what a cowlick was today. It was just a lot of learning. Today was really just all kinds of learning. About various hair salon related controversies. They won't let her use a straight razor. What the fuck? I need to buy a straight razor. I want to know more. I can't imagine. I had no idea there was such bureaucracy in the sphere of hair. Like, you can't even make that shit up, man. Is there a dark version? No. Alright, whatever. Slap a straight razor. I suppose that would be bad. You have a double-edged razor. I don't know anything about this stuff. I mean, I guess I know more than I did. So there is that. These outlines are just not reading. I just don't know what to do. I want... It's just not fitting the style. If you could call it that. Oh. My God. So much fucking hair controversy today. $300 fine if your paperwork is out of order. You have to get a renewal each year to be able to cut hair. Because if you cut it wrong, I guess it's unsanitary. It's like the fashion police, literally. Starting to understand why we have such an anti-government movement in this country. If I had to deal with that crap every day, I'd probably feel the same. That's too extreme. Yeah, shit's still all fucked up in Flint. My hairdresser isn't allowed to use a straight razor, but we can do whatever we want to the drinking supply. You know what? I'm sure there's probably, like, really good reasons for some of this stuff, though. And I'm sure we just don't see it. Like, maybe lives are saved because of you know, regulating straight razors and stuff. Like, maybe there used to be huge problems. Usually anytime you make fun of legislation, it's because there's something you don't understand. But it's a lot easier to just feel really offended about it. So I'm gonna go with feeling really offended about it. Alright, how do we feel about this character? Or my notes? Outlines. Yeah, that's true. So I've added these outlines to the symbol. Other than reworking it, I don't know if we're going to polish that much more than we already have. Not feeling the silver shader on it, to be honest. Alright, but it's gotta be metal, so whatevs. We do need some kind of outline on the drum. The drum. What do we do about this drum? Does this character feel iconic? I don't know how I feel about the tipping of the hat thing. I think I need to pull that up a bit. I think it looks more like a glitch and less like something cool. Bodies. P. Drummer. It wouldn't be American not to be offended. Oh shit, we just got a bunch of people. Thanks, Code Enjoy. Never gotten that error before. P cube 68. I'm glad you like the drummer, May. That was fun to alt tab over and see. Oh, I didn't re-import yet, did I? Or did I and it didn't work? Errors, god damn it. What the shit? Oh. Material IDs. Actually, before, I don't want to add a new material to this. I don't think I need to. I think for you too. Just added 2 cylinders, right? Yeah. Yeah, but how much do you like it, May? Like, will people want to buy a vinyl of it? Will people want to get a plushie of it? Is it truly good? Why is there a new material? There shouldn't be a new material. Windows rendering machine. Nope. Nope. All right. Let me fix up these material IDs real quick. Look at this screen. black. Poop. Something is awry. Did I export everything properly? There we go. Of course. Jesus, if you want to make fan art of the game, May, do it. I would be honored. That'd be really cool. Like, really cool. Thank you. I don't think I'm final with him, I'll warn you. Like, I think I'm gonna send this off to... I'm gonna get to a place where I think I've taken it as far as I can, or I'm just, like, kind of creatively drained or stuck or something, and then I'm gonna send it off to, like... I'll just hit up friends. I'll be like, what do you think? Kind of explain the problem space, see what they think. I kind of want to put some of these characters in a scene and have, like, send a render to a friend so that they could maybe do a paint over. Beg for some advice. So much of, for me, so much of game dev is, like, begging people for advice. It's a large part of all of it for me. And being there for other people to give feedback. I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty open with my fucking opinions. I actually made a blog post at one point that I can't share, but I was working on a trailer that we had internally at the Molasses Flood, and over time I sent it out to different people for advice, and I collated a lot of that advice down into one massive blog post, and I wanted to post it and be like, here's here's a video of where it was, here's the feedback I got, and here's the video of where it was, and here's the feedback I got. And you will see, like, easily 10 animators from different, usually indie studios, but a couple of them from AAA, would just chime in and give incredible feedback. Like, several people from Blizzard, Tim who's at Thekla. Tim's always willing to look at anything and give you critique. Christian, Benson, like, it is valuable to be part of the community, and there's something about knowing that you're going to show your work to somebody else that forces you to really fucking buckle in and present it well. It holds you accountable to a certain level of polish. Like, I'm still nervous to send this to Kat, but I know Kat would have a great advice for how to tweak this character. I think I'm pretty happy with him. Not happy, like, I think he's got a ways to go, but I feel like I'm eager to, I have that feeling where I want to animate him. You know, like, I want to have the simple crash when he pulls in an arm. I want to have the stand kind of, like, wiggle when he's up here and he's, like, wiggling his little feet. I want to have that secondary motion on that bow tie. The twist tie, excuse me. I feel like he could be like a little dog, like he'd wiggle his little butt and jump around. Because he's basically a quadruped, right? Anytime I can make a character a quadruped, I do so. I might have a problem at this point. Yeah. Alright. I think it's time for me to go get dinner. And I think it's time for me to put this character to bed. And send off probably a render of the accordion and the drummer to a friend. I gotta look at her now. Does she look plain now compared to him? Maybe not. I'm still not a fan of the fucking spaceship, like, shape here. Alright. Well, I warned you guys this was gonna be a short stream, and it is. I'm out. Have a great day, guys. Night, evening, afternoon, whatever. I'm at work again tomorrow, so I probably won't be able to stream again until the weekend. Yeah. Later. It's been great catching you too, Cobra. Jamon. See you guys in a bit.